sitting already.
Remember this part, right? Randy Fox,
Yes.
the one and only.
Yeah, the one and only, yeah. Named for 3 in the state of Tennessee with that name.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Where is Fox? What is that, a nationality, or is that, where did that name originate? Fox.
I really don't know. My dad was born in Anderson County up in Briceville, Tennessee.
Briceville, Tennessee. I'm not familiar with that.
Right outside of, you know where Lake City, Tennessee is?
No.
It's up above Knoxville, about 30 miles above Knoxville.
How'd
Little coal mine in town.
How'd you migrate to Cleveland?
I was born here.
Well, he migrated here?
Yeah.
What?
He was in the Army with his my wife's cousin's husband. And he brought him in one day on leave to meet mother and went on a blind date. And about 3 or 4 weeks later, they were married. One date, never did see her again until he come back in and married her.
Is that right? Did he stay married the whole time?
Yeah.
Well, it don't happen often now, does it?
No, it don't.
Wonder why that is.
Too easy to get unhitched.
I guess. Back then it was harder, wasn't it?
You know why divorce costs so much, don't you?
Uh-uh.
It's worth it.
I guess so. But you know, when they divorce, they get what the wife gets half and the husband gets half, so
Yeah.
it's not a big. It's just half and half.
Yeah.
So did you? Were you? You was a mailman, right?
Yeah. 31 years.
31 years. You know, I went out to get my mail Saturday. It's like 3 Saturdays in a row they won't deliver the mail here. They didn't deliver it Friday, Saturday, Monday because it was a holiday, and then I got a little Tuesday and a bunch on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's a screwed up mess down there now.
Why? I don't understand. You know, when I was growing up, through hell, what's that saying? Through
Hail, sleet, and snow.
Yeah, no, the mail always came.
Yeah, always meet your pointed rounds.
So did they give you like a list of? Did you have the same route 31 years?
Yeah, stayed on the same route for 31 years. I had an opportunity to move a lot. You know, but you go over seniority and a route opens up, you can bid on it and take that route. But
Yeah.
I was satisfied with where I was at, and I just stayed with it.
What was there to bid?
Take the route.
You mean you do it for less than the other guy, or just?
No, it's the same pay. It might be an easier route. It might be paid a little bit more than this route you was on.
Because the route was longer?
Yeah.
So you were a United States postal employee.
Yeah. And my wife also. I retired 31 years. She retired with 30 years.
How long have you been retired from that?
About 14 years, I think. I retired when I was 59.
Did you no matter what you did the mail route?
I was the only route in Cleveland that we had the Blizzard deliver their own route, their whole route. Nobody else did.
What'd they do?
Some of them just went down up Cook somewhere and parked for a while, 3 or 4 hours, and drove back till we just couldn't make it.
How'd you make it?
Well, I had a 4-wheel drive, but all of mine was up hills and down there. I had Hickory Hills, Belfont Heights, Wilson Heights, and I come down Dry Valley Road, and they'd graded it right down the middle, and there's snow packed on each side, and just one lane. If I'd been a car on Dry Valley Road, I don't know what we'd done.
Well, what kind of mail? Were you in a regular mail route?
No, I was on a rural route, so you drove your own vehicle.
So you were 31 years on the rural route.
Yeah.
You didn't drive the little.
Mm-mm. No.
So you're 31 years rural route.
Yeah.
Was that a little different than the mailman that comes here?
Oh, yeah, we didn't have to wear a uniform or nothing. And we got paid salary. And a city carrier, they get paid by the hour.
Mm. So did you make about the same as they would?
No, I probably made more than they did. See, my route was 48 hours a week. I was guaranteed 48 hours a week pay. And that's 40 hours straight and 8 hours overtime. I'd get through about 21, 22 hours every week. I'd be through and get paid for 48.
You had to drive your own vehicle?
Yeah.
That came out of your pay?
No, they paid us so much for gas.
How long did it take you to get used to driving like this? Did you drive like that, or had
Drove
you?
in the middle of the seat. It wasn't nothing to it. You know, after you got used to it, it wasn't nothing to it. I could drive all the way to Florida like that if I wanted to.
Not straight shift, obviously.
Oh no! Well, when I first started the post office, I drove a Volkswagen Bug.
What year was that?
About 82, 83, something like that.
So you drove straight shift?
Yeah, sat in the driver's seat. And of course, the Volkswagen Bug's so little, I could sit there and reach out the window and put the mail in the mailboxes. But you couldn't do that now. The mail is so heavy now.
Yeah,
There's no way you could do it.
What do you mean the mail's heavier?
Well, there's more mail and more packages now than there used to be when I first started. There weren't that many packages. Now you get a big package, put it in the Volkswagen Bug, you're full. Keep putting nothing else in there.
How did they get packages around then? Or was there any?
Yeah.
Did everything go through UPS then, or what?
Yeah. And then once they took over Amazon, they just killed the post office. You know, they just can't get it out. There's a lot of carriers will go back 2 or 3 times to the post office and pick up more packages to go back out and deliver them.
Because there's no room in the car.
There's just too many of them nowadays.
But back then, so you're saying back then people really didn't even mail that many packages?
No, there wasn't that many when I first started.
I guess they all went to the store.
Yeah. But, you know, they started all this internet and all this stuff, ordering online and all that.
So prior to that, in 82, 83,
yeah,
it was just the regular mail and the sweepstakes magazine or something like that?
Yeah, that's about all it was. There wasn't that many packages at all. But over the years, it just ballooned.
I don't know how people, and if they sent a package, it was done through UPS, I guess.
Yeah.
Did you, where did you pick the mail up at?
At the post office.
The old post office downtown?
Yeah, uptown where I started at.
You back up into the loading dock, I guess?
Mm-hmm.
About what time did you have to do that?
Well, I usually leave about 8 o'clock in the morning, start my route. And by 11:30, I was through for the day.
What about those magazines? They give you a bunch of magazines. You had to put one in every mailbox with it.
Yeah.
Wasn't that aggravating?
Well, the whole thing was aggravating back then. Back then, like I was on real Route 12, and people mail somebody a letter, they wouldn't put the box number. They just put Route 12. And if you know where people live, you look at that. So where did I go? You know, if you got 600 and something people on your route, you don't know where that goes if you ain't put a box number on there. So you better know your route. And they give it to you back then. They put it all together. It's like a jigsaw puzzle when you sit there.
They didn't sort it before you got it?
No. We sorted ourselves.
Before you left?
Mm-hmm.
What if you couldn't read the writing?
Oh, no, she could pretty. It wasn't that bad to read in the writing.
Boy, that would drive me nuts. So the mailman do you think they pre-sort it now?
Oh, yeah, they do. They got what they call DPS, delivery point sequence machines, sit there and just puts it all in order. So it's already in order. All you do is just pick it up, put it in your car, and take off.
Was that so the machine reads the return address or the mailing address?
Yeah. No, they don't have one that does magazines yet. They got them in the bigger towns. They don't have one around here. And that would just flood you with magazines and stuff if they had that now. Because a lot of times you'll have 7, 8, 9, 10 trays of letters to take out.
Boy.
But like I said, back when it was Route 12, box so-and-so, Route 9, box so-and-so, people didn't put the box number. A lot of people didn't. If you didn't know the route, you was hurting.
Did you ever get to where it just drove you crazy?
Well, I enjoyed it. I had it down pat.
Knew every dog on the route and everything?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'd get through every day, but about 11:30, I was free for the day.
Why didn't you say, okay, I want to be a regular mail carrier in the city and drive the blue van?
Because real carriers paid more and got a better retirement. Didn't have to wear a uniform or nothing.
But why is it now that the mail is... I emailed them, said I didn't get my mail, and they sent me back an automatic reply that said we're short on help.
Well, they are.
Back when I was growing up, if you could get a job as a mailman, you just couldn't hardly get it.
Oh yeah, everybody wants a job at the post office, lining up to get a job.
Yeah.
But now they're shying away. Nobody wants to work there. They work you to death. So
what is it? Do they cut the trying to get more out of it, or is it?
Yeah, well, they cut the pay. I went under work at civil service. Then years later, they cut it down to the FERS system, Federal Retirement System, Federal Employees Retirement System. It's not a good retirement system at all. Cut the pay down, everything else.
So now, if you were a mail carrier, you're carrying bigger packages, but fewer mail because everything's going online.
Yeah.
What do you think will happen in the future with the mail?
Well, if they don't get it straightened out, it's just the post office going to fold. They lose millions and millions of dollars every year. Amazon just killed the post office. They took it so cheap to, hey, we'll give us the contract and we'll deliver it for you. So on Sundays, that's all they do is deliver Amazon. Not allowed to deliver nothing else. If I had a package going to your house, one was Amazon and one was from Sears or something, can't take the Sears, just take the Amazon. Which don't make sense. If you go into the house, take both of them.
Yeah.
But that's not the contract they had with Amazon.
Boy, Amazon got big quick. When did they come? When did they come out?
I don't know. It's been a while. But they not only that, they destroyed the post office, they destroyed the economy. All mom and pop just went down. Everybody orders offline now.
I order toothpaste online. It's on the back porch within 2 days.
I never ordered nothing online.
If you ever start, it's hard to stop because it's so easy.
Well, a lot of people do it, order stuff online like that. I just never have.
Do you think that, can it get worse? I mean, how bad can it get?
Worse. It's got worse. The carriers now are working, especially during Christmas, they're working to 8 or 9 o'clock at night. 6, 7 days a week. Can't even get a day off because they don't have anybody subs to carry anymore. Nobody wants to work down there.
Boy.
Used to be a real good place to work.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not anymore. I wouldn't. If I had a chance to go back to the post office now and go to work, I'd say stick it. I don't want it.
And all this stuff is coming from a distribution center 3,000 miles away.
Yeah. I don't have to do all that to have it, get it here suffice, but they do.
I don't either.
Beyond me.
They can have something from Staples here quicker than I can go across the street and get it because something will get in my way and I can't get there.
Yeah.
But this got to get complicated for them too. They can't be immune to problems. Amazon, they got to have issues too.
Well, I'm sure they do, but they're making more money every year. Increasing sales and all that.
They've become the post office and the retail store all in one.
Well, Amazon is trying to get their own system where they deliver their own packages. Build the distribution center and buy the trucks and all that. That'll be a big relief for the post office if they ever do that.
But then what will that leave the post office with? Just regular mail?
Well, there's not that much regular mail anymore like it used to be.
Because everybody's emailing the bills and invoices and
paying online.
Paperless,
online.
Paying.
Only big thing now is the packages.
If you could see things forward, what do you think will happen?
I think before long they'll probably privatize the post office. They'll bid it out to some big company and they'll take it over and everything.
Go to 4 days a week, maybe?
Well, I wouldn't see no problems going 4 days a week. Do you really need mail 6 days a week?
Well, I just mailed my American Express bill. It's not due for 15 days, but I'm afraid it may not get there.
Yeah,
because they'll charge you bad interest.
I've had some bills that they send me and say the late charge. I say, hey, I mailed that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Say, well, we didn't get it in time. I thought, hey, that ain't my fault. Look at the postmark on it.
I don't know if they can do that. They didn't receive it. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's going to happen. That one, you'd have a hard time to figure out what's going to happen.
What are we going to do? Say I'm not going to pay it? So you got to pay the late charge. There's no way around it.
No way around it. It's up to them, their discretion. Can you think of something else in the past that just because basically all that went away within couple years.
Oh yeah, I retired, like I said, around, I was 59, and about the time I was 62, the post office just started downhill.
You got out right before.
Right.
So
just
when you
the
got
right
out,
time.
everything was normal.
Yeah. I told them when I left it all go downhill, and it did.
Because you left.
Yeah.
So since then, it's really good. And like the newspapers, you know, my newspaper last night was or today's that big around. It's just a whole nother world.
Oh yeah. Well, I had a Saturday. They come by my house at 20 minutes to 8, delivering the mail. 20 minutes to 8, and then once it gets dark and out doing it dark, it's dangerous.
And this is Saturday night.
Yeah. Well, you don't want nobody at 8 or 9 o'clock running up to your yard, putting a package on your porch. You don't know who's out there.
No, huh? It'll all get shot.
Might be a big dog out there to eat you up, or a big hole you fall in, break your leg. They don't care. You know, they get on to them and fine them and all that. They just pay the fine to go on.
Maybe they should just charge them. You know, I had an old mailbox sitting out here on the back porch, and one Saturday I couldn't find my mail, and it was in there. It was just an old mailboxes at the front of the road, but they'd put it in the mailbox in the carport.
The carrier calls in sick, or they ain't got nobody to fill that route that day, so they just say, hey, you come over here, you carry this route. They never carried it before, and that's tough.
He thought that was my mailbox.
Yeah, well, he didn't know. It's just tough. You get to say, you know, carry this route, even follow the route where the road's at. They said, well, just follow your mail. It's not that easy. Everybody thinks the post office is an easy job, but it's not. It's stressful.
I bet. And that's when it's going good.
Yeah.
But then a stamp's how much was a stamp when you started?
I think about 18 cents, 19 cents, something like that.
And now it's 50?
I don't even know what it is. I don't even keep up with it anymore.
No, I think it's 50 cents.
The only thing I keep up is my retirement check.
Does it come regular, or do you have it automatic?
No, I still get it in the mail. But I get the letters all the time from it. You know, it's a federal law. You know, you got to do a bank draft. I mean, a direct deposit. I just throw it in the garbage and said, well, when they finally stop it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Well, they don't send it on time. If I get paid, supposed to get paid the first of the month, it might be the 6th or 7th of the month time I get my check. My wife said, if you do direct deposit, you won't have that problem. I said, well, it ain't no problem to me. She does hers direct deposit, but I didn't.
I can't do anything like that. I'm just so scared I'll mess up, or I have to have a piece of paper.
Yeah, I'm just old fashioned. I want to see my check.
Yeah. But you know, there were probably people years ago riding horse and buggies that said, they couldn't believe cars, maybe.
Yeah.
So things change. We have to be ready to change. It's not like we're going to get to a certain point and nothing's going to change no more. We finally figured everything out.
Yeah.
I guess it just keeps...
Well, we had a big change at the post office when we went from the rural routes to the box numbers, and they give everybody an address. That was a big change to learn that. You
know, rural route, where did that come up? I remember... You know, Mayberry, the spinoff from Mayberry was RFD. That was supposed to be rural route something. So what's the difference between rural route and address?
Well, there's rural route. Like I said, it come route so-and-so, box so-and-so. So they would eliminate all that and just give everybody an address. Like 1400 Burris Lane, 1402 Burris Lane. And you had to learn your whole route over again. Because everything just changed on you. Nobody liked that. But
did you ever get out on freezing mornings and you had to keep rolling your window up and down, and that got...
No, I never did run my air. Everybody run their air conditioner in the summertime. I never did run mine.
Well, you just like the heat?
Well, no, I didn't like the heat, but if you got used to air conditioning, then you try to do it without an air conditioner, you just burn up. You just can't stand it.
Did it ever get so hot you just had to have some heat or some air?
Yeah.
But you just tried not to do it so you wouldn't get
well,
used
like I said, I'd hustle on my route and get through early. So I had 2 jobs. I was working for Ed at the post office. I mean, Ed Lewis at the road department, and working at the post office full-time too. But I get through about 11:30, and I go back to the courthouse and work for Ed, and may work to 7 o'clock at night and work on Saturday, something to get my time in. But I held 2 jobs.
So Ed let you come in at noonish?
Yeah. All I done was paperwork and stuff like that in the office, so I didn't have to be out on the road fixing roads.
Why'd you
and nothing
want
like
two
that.
jobs?
Just to get ahead in life. My wife worked 2 jobs. She worked at Rob Lynn's as a waitress at nighttime, and in the daytime she delivered mail. We both had 2 jobs.
Boy, Rob Lynn's. Do you ever miss their French onion soup?
Yep. I miss everything at Rob Lynn's. That was good food.
Boy, they had good hamburger steak and onions, French onions. I don't know how they made that so good, but I've never eaten any like it before or since.
Well, Lynn was a good cook. Real good cook.
Whatever happened to them?
Oh, they all died. They all died out.
They never had much light in there. It was kind of dark, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know why they wanted it that dark. And they'd
know.
always sit over in the corner there and watch everybody that come
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, they were
they-
entrepreneurs. I mean,
Yeah.
they were they were store managers.
Yeah.
And the wallpaper was dark.
hmm
They had fresh salads. They had early bird special. Remember
Yeah.
that? Like started at 4 or 5 o'clock.
Yeah, my wife said remember the Burnses?
Yep.
They come there every night, eat the same thing all the time.
God,
Always order the same things. Regular customers.
I'd get sick of that, wouldn't you?
Oh, I would, but evidently they didn't.
Why is it so? I ate lunch with Ted Moss on Fridays. He eats the same thing every day, 5 days a week.
Go up here to his chicken place.
Teriyaki Madness, yeah.
Yeah, Charlie'd go with him over there. And
Charlie'd go with him, yeah.
And Charlie says, I don't want to eat up there. I said, I don't like that food at all. Charlie would hardly eat up there, just drink something.
Charlie would make him stop and get him a hamburger, Hardy's hamburger, to take with him. You miss Charlie?
Oh, Lord, yes. About every night between 8 and 8:30, my phone would ring. My wife said, there's Charlie. Every night.
Did he talk long?
Oh, Lord. About an hour and a half, 2 hours. And a lot of times
Why
I
was
said,
it?
I don't feel like talking tonight. And I said to him, I said, I need to call him back. So I called him back and he's busy. You know, if he didn't get you, he's going to call somebody else.
Yeah.
Most everybody had television. Charlie had a telephone.
Yeah. He loved to talk.
Oh, he did. He did. He knew everybody in town. I mean,
Everybody.
everybody.
And their brother and their sister and their uncle.
Yeah. Where they used to work, where they used to live. And I mean, he just knew it all. I don't know how he knew all that, but he did.
I guess he's on the phone all the time.
Yeah.
But I miss Charlie. I miss Troy Dixon. And a bunch of them. You could fill this room up with them.
Oh, yeah, Lord, yes.
You had anybody die of COVID?
Yeah, my sister-in-law died about 2 weeks ago.
God.
And Jerry Frazier was a good friend of mine. I ate breakfast every morning with Jerry. Jerry died of COVID.
Where'd y'all eat at?
Hardee's. Every morning.
That's where Ed Lewis goes now. doesn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah, he had finally quit the liars table. Come
Yeah.
down to the intelligent
Yeah.
people.
See, on 25th Street?
Yeah,
What time do you get there?
about 9 o'clock. But we all sat out. You know, they got those picnic tables outside, so we
Yeah.
sat outside out there.
Jim Hicks go over there any? He used to there for a while.
I know where Jim goes. I don't know.
He was going there for a
I
while.
know where he was going, to 25th Street or where he was going.
Oh, you go to which one?
25th Street.
Yeah, he was going there for a while.
Mm.
He might have been a little earlier.
Well, he could have been.
Now, 31 years ago, when Ed quit being the road superintendent, did you stop doing that?
Well, I stopped about 6 months before his last term was out. I said, Ed, I'm just fed up with it, doing 2 jobs. You know, I just want to do one.
So you get home what time?
Usually about 7, 7:30, 6:30, 7, something like that. Sometimes I get to leave at 5 o'clock and just maybe do it on Saturdays or something like that to pick my time up.
So
or
2
something.
jobs for years.
Oh, yeah. And I really appreciate Ed letting me do that.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, if I had to work out on the road, I don't know why I could have done it. Because I'd have to be on the clock at 7 o'clock in the morning. And
But you didn't need the money anyway.
I don't
Right.
know.
You just wanted the money, maybe.
Well, this stuff I wanted, and only way you're going to get it is work for it.
Yeah, or file for unemployment right now. Right?
Yeah. Never got.
Here you had 2 jobs for years,
Yeah.
and now people won't even hardly work.
Yeah. Nobody don't want to work. The federal government's just killing us for giving us this money. And of course, I said on the news the other night that Biden wants to continue paying them through 2024 the $300 a week.
Is that what the thing is?
I said, that's just stupid. Just stupid. That's
Sure
why nobody
they-
wants to work.
They just learned to live off $300 a month,
No, a week.
a week. Lord.
Well, my nephew, he's out of job drawing state unemployment, which is about $160, $175 a week or something like that. Plus, back then it's drawing $600 a week for the go, but he wasn't going to look for no job. Why would you want to look for a job?
I just go
You make
fishing.
$700 something a week sitting at home doing nothing, or you can go down to Hardee's and work for $150, $200 a week. What are you going to do? You're going to stay home and draw $700 something a week.
And if Hardee's pays you they'd have to pay you $900 to get you. They'd have to pay you a whole lot to get you.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people may be working for cash and still drawing.
Well, they say some of them do, though, these fast food restaurants, they pay them cash and pay them daily cash. So whether that's true or not, I don't know.
I don't know. It's all different. Now, 31 years ago, if you were 59, then you quit at 28. You went to work for them.
Mm-hmm.
But you were in the Vietnam War, right?
Yeah.
So, did you graduate Bradley High?
Yeah, 1966.
Was it down here at the old Bradley at the time?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who graduated in your class?
Jerry Frazier, George Nairn, Terry Scott, Jimmy Cannon, Wayne Richardson. There's a ton of them.
Was it a big class?
We had nearly 500 students in our senior class.
So if you had 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, that'd been 2,000 people or so.
Yeah.
Did you go to Vietnam? Did you get drafted or what?
Yeah. Well, I knew I was going to get drafted. Everybody signed my yearbook. Good luck in Vietnam. Be careful in Vietnam. That's when I graduated.
Had you?
And everybody knew that, hey, if you wasn't going to college, you're just going to get drafted and end up in Vietnam.
So if you went to college, you wouldn't have to go.
Oh, you got a deferment if you went to college. But I didn't want to go to school anymore.
What if you went to just Cleveland State? Then you got out of going to Vietnam?
Yeah, got a college deferment.
Well, wouldn't that have been easier than going to Vietnam?
Oh, I'm sure it would have. But I was just tired of school. I just wanted to get out. My goal was to finish high school. And I wasn't planning on going any farther. But the day I got out of the Army, I was discharged. The next day, I was in Cleveland State, starting classes. Next day after I got out of the Army.
You wanted to then?
Oh, yeah. Well, I matured a little bit and know where I messed up. I said, well, I should have went to college. So
when you were graduating, you were planning on going to Vietnam?
No, I wasn't planning on it. But I knew that's eventually going to go there. Because I graduated in 66 and I didn't get drafted to 68. So I got 2 years of relief.
What'd you do during that 2 years?
I worked at white stores and done construction work.
And then you got your number up?
Yep.
What'd they call you?
No, sent it in the mail. Got a letter in the mail.
What if you told me you didn't get it in the mail? That wouldn't have worked then,
I don't know what it would not. I wasn't going to try that.
What did it say?
That's greetings from Uncle Sam. You've been, numbers come up or something like that. I remember exactly what it said. A lot of people kept the letter. I didn't keep mine.
Did it say Uncle Sam or United States Marine Corps or whatever?
No, it just said Uncle Sam. They didn't decide who you was going with till you got to the induction station in Knoxville.
So when you got this letter, how long did they give you before you had to go to Knoxville?
I think it's about 2 or 3 weeks I had before I had to report to Knoxville, to the induction center.
Did it scare you?
No, I wasn't tickled to death about it. I didn't want to go, but I had no choice.
Because the worst years in Vietnam were about 67, 68, right?
Yeah.
So where'd you go? You went to Knoxville and got on the bus or what?
Well, I got on the bus here and drove to Knoxville. Then I left Knoxville to get on the bus.
Who went with you during that time?
Nobody.
I mean, was it just you or a group of people from
there's
Cleveland?
a group of people, but I didn't know none of them.
Didn't know none of them?
Mm.
And they were all from Cleveland or Chattanooga and coming this way or something?
Well, I guess it just coming this way and they stopped picking people up. But when you got the induction center, they'll say, well, 20 of you is going to the Army, 10 of you is going to Marines, and anybody want to volunteer for anything.
So you didn't know which one? What did you know?
So you 20 are going to the Army, you 10 are going to the Marines.
They didn't size you up or anything? Aptitude test, nothing?
Oh, we took the aptitude test and everything. Well, if I'd known what I know now, I'd have lied on the aptitude test.
What would you have done?
Well, they asked you, you like hunting? Yes. You like camping? Yes. You like the outdoors? Yes. And then they say, well, look, he loves to be outdoors camping and all that. He'd be the ideal man for Vietnam and for the infantry.
So what did you heard about the war prior to that?
Well, my brother was over there. He spent right at 7 months over there and got 3 Purple Hearts, 2 Bronze Stars, and a Silver Star. He was a medic he went over with the Marine Corps. He was a medic with the Navy, but the Navy furnished the Marine Corps their medics.
Was he drafted too?
No, he joined. He made a career out of it. He liked it. I didn't.
When you so you knew sort of what it was like before you went over there.
Well, a little bit, not a whole lot.
Was you in shape?
Oh yeah. When I got drafted, I weighed 123 pounds. I went through basic and advanced infantry training.
How tall were you?
About 5'10".
You were skinny.
Yeah. Well, I come out of advanced infantry training, weighed 165 pounds. I went in at 123.
So when you got up there, they see this 5'10", 120-pound guy, and they decided you're best suited for what?
Infantry.
So what happened then? Where did they send you?
Went to Fort Campbell, Kentucky. I left induction center. They put a notice on the bus, took us to Fort Campbell, started our basic training. Then when we graduated from Fort Campbell, they put us on a bus that afternoon and drove all night to Fort Polk, Louisiana.
What was the basic training? Was it hard?
It wasn't easy, but it's not that hard if you're in pretty good shape.
Would they do a lot of yelling like on TV?
Oh yeah. It's not that way anymore, but back then, they'd kick you and slap you and everything else, but they can't do that anymore.
You think it's better or worse?
Well, I don't know what it's like now.
But when you got over to Vietnam, were you glad they kicked you and slapped you, or would you?
No, I'd rather not done that, but that's the way
Did they teach you anything by doing that helped you while you was there?
No. I just wish I'd have listened more in classes they had.
What kind of classes?
Well, they can tell you, combat classes and all that, firearms classes and all that stuff. I wish I just listened more.
Mm-hmm. So when you got over there, did they send you right over to Vietnam?
Yeah. I got off, landed at Cam Run Bay, and I didn't know what to expect. I thought we were going to get off. They're going to start handing us guns as we get off the plane, start shooting their way off and everything. But Cam Run Bay was a pretty secure base. So that night they give me an M14 with no ammo and put me down a little hut on the beach by myself all night long to guard.
With no bullets?
Yeah. I thought, what good is this M14 if they ain't no bullets?
Now, what from that time when you got on the beach with a gun with no bullets, how long had it been since you received that letter in the mail?
Well, I went and started my basic in August, and I was in Vietnam in January.
So you got the letter. You were 5 months.
Yeah.
Before you were supposed to be protecting something. So what'd you do? Just sit there all night? What if something had happened? Just hit them with a gun?
I don't know what happened. Well, I was scared to death.
Yeah.
Your first night in country, they put you out there doing that, and you're just scared to death. Don't know what's going on.
Did you say, hey, where's my bullets?
And I said, you don't need any bullets. Of course, it was a secure area, but we didn't know it was that secure.
Yeah. Well, there's some reason you're out there.
Yeah. Well, about 7, 8 months later, Cam Run Bay got overrun. There was a bunch of people got killed. Mm-hmm. They came in off the beach and their saipans and stuff and just wiped them out.
So what was Vietnam like for you?
Hell. Worst year of my life I've ever spent was in Vietnam.
Was it just the 12 months?
Mm-hmm.
From the time you got there and they sent you on the beach, what did they give you bullets after that?
Oh yeah, once we got there, assigned to our company, they did.
Did you know anybody in the company at all?
Mm-mm.
All strangers.
Yeah. Well, I've got some of my best friends that I served in Vietnam with, and then I went all through grammar school and high school with them, closer to some of those guys. Well, I just spent 5 or 6 months with them, but we were tight. Because you depended on those to watch your back and you watch their back.
So you were like 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to. Can you tell me some war stories?
No. That's just something I just don't never have talked about.
Yeah. But you're glad you're out, right?
Oh, yeah. You know, you just imagine spending the whole year in the jungle, sleeping on the ground.
Eating out of those.
Sea rations. Lived on sea rations. I lived on all year on beanies and weenies. I traded anything I had in my sea rations, my fruit cocktail, my pound cake, ham slices, anything for a can of beanie weenies.
Have you seen that guy on YouTube that will open up sea rations and he opens them up in front of the camera and he eats them? These old things. He would have 1942. So yours
ours was made in 1948, 1949.
They
on
were,
the box. You know,
they were still good then. What did they have in them? They have Lucky Strike cigarettes?
Little Lucky Strikes, a Camel, Salem, Winston.
How did you know what was going to be in there?
You didn't?
Just luck?
Yeah. And a lot of people didn't smoke, so you got their cigarettes. Well, I'll trade you this for your cigarettes or something like that.
Why beanie weenies?
I just like beanies and weenies. I couldn't eat some of that other stuff. It's just terrible. Mm-hmm. But I could live off beanies and weenies, so that's what I ate for a year. Beanies and weenies every day.
Did they have, was it what kind of beanie?
Oh, I don't know. It's just in a olive drab can. I don't know what kind they were.
So it came in all the sea rations?
Oh, no. You may get a box of sea rations, be ham steak. One might be turkey loaf. One might be beanies and weenies.
So you would just trade around for the beanies?
Yeah, because you didn't get to pick out what you wanted. So here's a sea ration. You reach in and grab you 2 or 3 boxes of
them. Have
them.
crackers or bread with it?
I had crackers with them. They were terrible. Tastes like cardboard.
So you just ate the beanie weenies?
And that's it. Beanies and weenies.
Can you eat them today?
I've never ate beanies and weenies since I got back. Never. I've had my fill of them.
So when you got back, you said, I'm going to college?
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland State?
Yeah, I got accepted to Cleveland State before I got out.
What'd you do, mail in a letter?
Mm-hmm.
How did you mail a letter if you're in the... Did they give you time to go back and...
Oh, no, I'd done left Vietnam by then.
Oh.
I still had a few months left in the Army before I got out.
What'd you do that few months?
They sent me to Fort Hood, Texas.
Just waiting your time?
Well, that's basically what you was doing. I was with the artillery training, the tanks and stuff.
How did you get out? I thought people spent 2 years there.
You do.
But only 1 year in Vietnam.
Yeah, I had 5 months left. I could extend it over in Vietnam for 3 more months, and then when I left Vietnam, I'd been discharged. But they wouldn't guarantee me a job in the rear. So I said, well, I'm going home then. I'm not staying 3 more months in the jungle.
What was the rear? That was a little safer, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, back in the rear, you had a bed to sleep in at night. You had 3 hot meals a day. You take a shower, you go to the PX, go to the movies at night, sit around, drink beer, and shoot the bull with the guys. You didn't have that out in the jungle. You slept on the ground and eat what you could eat. What you'd get, and sometimes we couldn't even get resupplied. We'd go 2 or 3 days without eating food or water or anything.
So you didn't want to take a chance on having to do that?
Oh, I didn't want to live 3 months, stay 3 more months out in the field, because I've seen a lot of guys that have a month or so to go and get killed or something.
Yeah.
I said, no, I don't take my chances on that. They give me a job. A lot of guys got jobs in the rear and spent their three months in the rear, then got discharged. They said, we can't guarantee you a job in the rear. And I said, well, just send me home then. I'm not staying.
Because if they hadn't have, you never know.
Well, one guy that was with us named Sayers, he had about 2 or 3 weeks to go before he got out. And he didn't want to go back to the rear. The back to the rear, they mistreated us, put us on guard duty and burning crap and stuff like that, whether the other people back in the rear didn't have to do that. So they didn't like to be back there. And so he decided he'll stay in the field for about 3 or 4 days before it's time to go back to the rear and do his paperwork and go home. And we were walking through the jungle and the vegetation was so thick, we had to turn around and come back out, and that put him on point. As soon as he stepped back out, bam, killed him. He had about 2 weeks to go before he'd be out of the Army.
Boy.
And I said, no, that's not going to happen to me.
So it was so thick you couldn't even walk.
Huh?
You couldn't even walk, it was so thick.
Yeah. You had to take a machete to cut your way through it. But we just got in there so far, we just couldn't go any further. So we got to turn around and come back out.
Where is you even going?
I have no idea.
Wherever they wanted you to go.
Yeah, well, the first 3 or 4 months there, we was the company backup for anybody that got in the firefight. So somebody got in the firefight, they'd send choppers in and put us on choppers and drop us right in the middle of the firefight. We done that for about 4 months. Was the backup company for the battalion.
How'd they drop you?
The helicopter.
Yeah, but how'd you get out of the helicopter?
You jumped out.
With a parachute?
No, they get off about 7, 8 feet, 10 feet off the ground. They jump.
Oh.
You know, they're going to sit down there and land and fire coming in, getting shot at and everything. They're going to sit there and wait on you. And the first time they told me to jump, and I said, what do you mean jump? But that time somebody just pushed me out.
As high as this ceiling?
Yeah. A lot of people broke their legs or ankles and stuff.
Yeah, that's what a bit worried me. Then what do you do?
Well, you just lay there till they get a medic chopper come and get you out.
They teach you how to jump how to jump like that and not hurt yourself?
No.
That'd be a good class, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. I got to want to take that class, but you have to understand that the choppers didn't want to sit down. They wanted to get in there and just get you off and be gone.
Yeah, because they're a real target.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when they start coming in, they get all kind of fires.
Now they fight these wars with drones and stuff.
Oh, yeah. You
play like a video game.
You can sit there and like if you do it nowadays, you can sit at home and do it, fight the war.
Yeah.
Sit there and bomb them over in Saudi Arabia or wherever, just sitting at home doing it. If we'd had that back then, we'd have been a whole lot better off now.
So when you got back, you go to the new Cleveland State over there off Norman Chaplain?
Yeah.
What was you going to be? Just anything except in the war?
Yeah, I majored in criminal justice. I wanted to be in law enforcement.
But then, did you go over there 2 years or 4?
2.
Why not 4 years?
Didn't have it 4 years.
You didn't go. You just wanted to, what do they call it, a bachelor's degree, 2-year degree?
No, it's an associate degree.
Associate, yeah.
Yeah. As far as I got.
Well, that was a big deal then, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
I mean, a bachelor.
Associate degree. Now you know you got to have a bachelor's degree or a master's or anything. Now associate degree is not nothing. Now it's just like a high school diploma.
Well, back then, if you had an associate's degree, would it open a lot of doors for you?
Never did use mine.
But would it have?
Yeah.
Nowadays, they'd laugh at you if you had it.
Well, I took a job in law enforcement, lasted about 5 weeks.
What was the problem there?
Well, I was working 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, for $650 a month.
And
That just wasn't no money for that amount of time you spend. And not counting time you'd have to end up going to court or something like that.
Yeah.
So I loved the job, just didn't like the pay. I just couldn't live off of that with a wife and 2 kids. Mm-hmm. I said, no, I just can't live off of this. Mm. So then I went to work for Judge Collins as his assistant.
Carl.
Yeah, I was Carl's assistant.
Carl's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
He called me the day before yesterday. How did he pick you up?
Because
he's no dummy.
There was a guy named Jim Guffey was his assistant, and Carl gave me a job.
James.
Yeah,
Was that James?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was Carl's assistant, and Carl hired me to help James, and James didn't last that long, and then
I didn't realize James worked for Carl.
He was Carl's assistant, and I
James
helped
Guffey.
James, and then when James,
Now James Guffey was real good friends with Mark Grissom,
yeah,
weren't they? Is that the same James Guffey?
oh, I don't know,
He was good friends with Mark Grissom that owned
he
the
may have
Grissom
been, I don't know,
And he ended up going to Gatlinburg and managed a motel.
yeah,
Real good guy, funny guy.
mm-hmm. Real small guy too,
Real small, yeah. Lived out on Georgetown Road.
oh yeah, yeah, and his wife back when he married his wife, she worked on doing his ice cream,
She was redheaded.
yeah.
Boy, I got a memory, don't I?
But I took, when he left Carl, I was his assistant, so I just stuck as Carl's assistant. And Carl didn't make a change, he didn't hire nobody else, just kept me there. Then when Carl decided not to run again, Ed said, I'm going to run for road superintendent. You want to come to work for me? I said, yeah, I'd love to come work for you.
Who was better to work for, Carl or Ed?
Ed. Well, Carl was easy to work for. Ed's just a super nice guy to work for, though.
One wonder what makes him like that. He is so nice, isn't he?
Too nice. He don't have to say no to nobody.
Mm-hmm. He can stall you off pretty good.
Yeah. But he was a good man to work for. Mm-hmm. And Carl was good to work for.
Yeah. Yeah, Carl's no problem either.
No.
Now, that would have been about what year?
Well, Carl took office in 74.
He beat Nelum Jackson, right?
Yeah.
And his campaign manager was Troy L. Dixon.
Yeah. Troy says, I'm the one that got Carl
That's
elected.
What he said.
Says, Troy, you didn't do it. Yes, I did.
That's what he says.
I just love to aggravate Troy, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff, and I said, Troy, you're full of it.
But Troy asked for it.
Yeah.
He asked to.
But he was close on his predictions, though.
He really was.
He knew what he was talking about. But
He
I
was
just
a
sat there and said,
prognostic.
Troy, you don't know what you're talking about. There ain't no way that's going to happen. And I know, Troy knew what he was talking about,
Yeah.
but I didn't let him know like I know. Of course, Troy worked at the courthouse when I worked there with Carl.
He worked for Doug.
Yeah, I worked for Doug Elrod, him and Gene Officer.
Yep.
And Wilbur Ricketts.
Wilbur and Ricketts.
Yeah.
And Wayne Ormby.
Yeah.
Wayne's
still there, as far
He's
as I know.
still there. He works for Stanley.
Yeah. And he was there in 74 when I was working there.
Well, he was a kid then, wasn't he?
Yeah. Of course, he's probably got 50 years in or more.
He's some kind of a map.
Oh, yeah. He's good at his job.
He was smart.
Yeah.
Smarter than normal. But so how did you when you was working for Carl? I'm guessing you just went across the street and said, "Hey, can I learn how to send mail out?"
No. What happened there? My dad, they had an opening for maintenance, and my dad wanted to go over and take the civil service test for maintenance. He said, "How about going with me? Take the test over there with me. I don't want to go by myself." So I said, "That's no big deal. I'll go with you." I took the civil service test, and about 2 months later, Bob used to come over to the courthouse to my office and said, "Hey, how would you like to go to work for the post office?" I said, "I don't know, Bob. I wasn't trying to get a job. I just went on and took the test with my dad." He said, "Well, I need to know." I said, "All right, I'll let you know in a few days." Never did let him know, and he finally come back on and said, "Hey, I need to know. Do you want the job or not?" I said, "Let me try it, see what I like, see if I like it." And I like doing it. I thought it was an easy job.
So you quit working for Carl then?
No, I was working for Ed then.
Oh, Ed, yeah, that's right,
Yeah.
that's right.
Mm.
And Ed said, "Yeah, that'll be fine. You can do that."
Yeah. Well, I asked Ed, I said, "Ed, you got any problem with me doing this?" He said, "No, as long as you get your time in, I don't care how you do it, as long as you get your time in." Of course, everything I'd done was office work, right-of-way acquisitions. I was in charge of the bridge program, in charge of the letter grant, in charge of the sign grant.
Now, how did you get in charge of that stuff? A guy that didn't want to go to college.
I wrote all the grants for that.
Where did you learn that stuff?
From Joe Cate. See, when Joe got out of college, Carl hired Joe in his office because Joe was needing a job, so Carl hired him. And Joe done a lot of that stuff. Of course, he ended up being city planner, city manager, and all that. So I learned all that stuff from Joe.
How long did you work with Joe?
I think Joe was there probably less than a year or something. He got a job at the city.
So, how did you learn all of that? And just
I didn't think it was that hard to learn myself.
were you sort of a paperwork guy in school?
No, I didn't even try in school. I just done enough to get by on. I did study for tests, but I made enough to pass the test. But I wrote a lot of those stuff going. Ed put me in charge of all that.
Yeah.
So here you run the grant. Of course, when we got the sign grant, there wasn't a sign in Bradley County on none of the roads. Ed was the first person that got signs on every road in Bradley County.
What did they have on them? Nothing?
Didn't have nothing.
Didn't know what the road was?
Well, some of the Ruritan clubs every now and then would, have a little project and they'd get signs and put on the road in every area over there.
They had stop signs.
Yeah, well, not stop signs. No, they wouldn't put that. They put street signs.
Well, who had the stop signs? They had stop signs, though, right?
Yeah, well, the road department done that.
But Ed put the county road signs.
Yeah, put the names up. And that helped a lot for 911 and all that. So, you know, we sat there and made a list of all the roads in Bradley County, and the prison made our signs for us.
What'd they make them out of?
The same thing they make them out of today, that metal, like aluminum metal, real thin.
Flex, like it.
And they put that reflected stuff on it. When we first got it, they said, well, you're gonna do like McMinn County. You're gonna name all the roads numbers. I said, we can't do that in Bradley County. It'll get hung if we change everybody's road. You know, so well, this is Burris Road's been in my family for years, named after my dad and all that. Well, we're gonna change it to Road 945.
That wouldn't go over good.
Well, who would go over as good as anybody? Mm-hmm. You know, you have to learn the whole road system, the 911 and the ambulance and the fire and the police. And the, you know,
everybody have to relearn.
Yeah, where we going to go to? We know where the Road 84 is.
So, like Chatta Valley Road had no street sign.
None of the roads.
Well, who said it was Chatta Valley Road?
Well, I went through the records in Claude Clymer's office and dug all the records up, all the roads. You got to be accepted. All the roads had to be accepted.
Accepted by who?
Back then it was county court, and now the county commission. You don't automatically, well, you know that by building roads. You just don't automatically say, hey, this road is going to give it to the county. So no, we're going to inspect it first, make sure it meets our standards, and we'll accept it as a county road.
But back then, what? But back then it was already a road.
Yeah.
It just didn't have a sign.
Just didn't have a sign.
So the county roads didn't have, unless somebody just put up a sign.
Yeah.
Or a Rutan club.
Yeah. Now, none of the roads in Bradley County was marked at all.
And that was like what year?
It's about 88, 89, something like that. But we learned about there was grants out there to get the signs. So we applied for it and got the signs. And then the guy comes in and said, no, you're going to do it like McMinn County. You're going to give everybody numbers. And I said, Ed, they're going to crucify you if you do this. Everybody in town said, that'll cost you the election to do that. Mm-hmm. And so Ed was good friends with the transportation commissioner over there. And Ed called him. He said, no, y'all can do it the way you want to do it. So we want to put the names on it. Of course, if he had said, hey, you have to put the numbers on it, we probably wouldn't have done it. Yeah. I was just, just forget it. We don't want to do it. We don't want to accept it then. And
that kind of created a lot of confusion.
Oh, yeah, it definitely would. For the post office and everybody.
Police, ambulance.
Yeah. I don't know why McMinn County done it.
How'd you know what? So you had to look up the roads. Everybody knew the name. You could look up the name. It just wasn't posted on the.
No, we had to look at what road intersection and all that, and then you put your list down and mail it all into Nashville, and they make you signs for you and ship them to you. Mm-hmm.
How much was the grant for?
Like, gosh, I don't remember. It's
long ago.
I don't remember. Oh, yeah.
Had to have been a lot.
That's a lot of money, yeah.
They come with a pole. You had to go out and put the pole. That's where they get the sign crew. I guess you had to create a whole sign crew.
Yeah, well, we hired students in the summer to do it, most of it.
Now, wasn't Lickerhead, you know him?
Yeah.
Is he a...
He worked the sign department for the city.
For the city, yeah.
But the city had their street names. Mm-hmm. The counties didn't have it.
Now, I notice sometimes street signs will be blue. That means that's not a accepted road. Is that right? It all has to be green?
No, they don't have to be. They do them when they tear up or something. Mm-hmm. But that was probably one of these organizations that made some or something for their own, that they didn't have a name, so they just made their own. I
saw one out on somewhere that was purple. It was an old sign. I guess it was somebody thought purple.
I've seen that now.
But back in '86, so in '84, when I graduated high school, most county roads, if not all, didn't have a sign unless some neighbor put it up.
No. I mean, you had to know the county if you go out anywhere. You'd have to know what roads or something. You couldn't tell nobody, go out here to Chatta Valley Road and say, where's Chatta Valley Road at? Well, let's see.
Turn left on Wilkerson.
Yeah, well, there ain't no signs there.
Yeah. Boy,
that was a big thing.
That was a big thing.
Yeah. And like I said, if we'd have went to the number system and done it, that would cause Ed the election. He got beat. People didn't know, why would he do something that stupid?
And that would have been, I guess McMahon didn't do that. They went with the number system.
They did. I don't know why they done that. Of course, maybe the same guy that told them that they had to do the numbers just listened to them. Mm-hmm. And I just went to Ed and said, Ed, we can't do this. Because I knew he was in tight with the
You could tell Troy if he got Carl elected, you saved Ed from getting unelected.
Well, to see when they had Carl got elected, he hired Ed as the safety director for the county.
Mm. How did he know Ed?
I don't know how they knew one another. Because I've known Carl when we was kids. Carl lived across the street from me over there on 4th Street.
I thought Carl lived in Charleston.
He did, but he lived over on 4th Street back when we was kids.
For a while, or did he move to Charleston?
Yeah, for a while. His daddy was the janitor at Arnold School. Lived right there in the house that the school owned.
Let's see, where is that? Is that house still there?
No, they tore that house down, and Bill Schultz bought the property and built a house there.
Mm. Carl was raised pretty poor, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah. But he's not poor no more.
No, not no more. He gave $2 million to Tennessee Wesleyan.
And I get on his case all the time about that. I said, Carl, that's my inheritance you're giving away.
And half of it is mine.
Yeah, we always told him, me and Glenn Cantrell said, no, Carl, we want to be in your will. And I told Carl after Glenn died, I said, now, you know, we made a deal that when Glenn died, that I got his part. And if I died, he got my part. So I said, no, I've got 2 parts of the will.
You'd think Carl would give us some and put it in his will.
Well, I hope he does. I stayed on his case enough about it.
He, you know, trying to think, so he lived, how did he get to Charleston? I thought he was always from Charleston.
Mm-mm.
So he was from here in Cleveland, and they moved to Charleston.
Yeah.
Wonder why they moved to Charleston.
I don't know where his daddy bought a farm up there. Well, you know, had a farm up there, so I don't know where his daddy bought a farm or how they moved.
I think his daddy was a farmer.
Yeah. His daddy was a preacher.
Mm. You know, back then, about everybody was a preacher, weren't they?
Yeah.
Part-time? You never did any preaching, did you?
Oh, I preach all the time. There's nobody don't listen to me.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you think about these people nowadays not, you know, like not working like you had to back then? When we was coming in, you said my Uncle Joe, who was your
Science teacher.
Science teacher. Now, where was that at?
Arnold Junior High School.
Arnold Junior High School.
Yep.
Was he a good teacher?
Yeah, but he's very strict, though.
What made him so strict?
I don't know. Of course, he wasn't that old when he started teaching.
He was probably
24, 25. He wasn't that old.
He didn't know not to be strict. Was
Well,
everybody strict then?
Oh, yeah. He was strict. Shorty Jordan was. Warren Brewster was. Junior Pruitt was. Lou Underdown.
I remember Lou Underdown. He was my teacher.
I mean, they'd wear your hind ends out good.
I think
Joe had a paddle. It's got an old wooden shear that been around there, and he drilled holes in it, and that thing would wrap around your hind end, and he called it Old Rattler. And there wasn't probably 3 days out of the week I got a busting from Joe.
For the whole year, all the time?
Yeah. Usually you got a paddling every day from somebody. I just mischievous back then. When I started school, my first grade was Miss Bowers. First day of school, I got a paddling.
What about a first grade teacher paddling somebody at the first day of school? That's cruel, isn't it?
Well, back then it wasn't. And then if your parents found out you got a paddle at school, you got another paddle when you got home.
I couldn't make an argument for a first grader getting a paddling. So that's a good thing they quit that. But what types of stuff did you do to get paddling?
Just mischievous stuff. Talking, throwing stuff, or chewing gum. Just some of those silly rules they had. Now, when Stewart School opened up, I had to leave Arnold and go to Stewart because it's changing Arnold into a junior high school. And so Stewart School just opened up. The first day at Stewart School, I got the first person who got a paddle in Stewart School, the first day, from Miss Ornby. And that afternoon, I got a paddle from Mr. Kiker.
Mr. Kiker was principal when I went.
Yeah, he was principal when I started there. I just went there 1 year, then went back to Arnold.
What'd you get a paddling for? Do you remember?
I was getting paddled D when I was senior in high school, still getting paddlings. The worst one I ever got was from Jim Smitty. I mean, he brought tears to my eyes. And I said, Coach, can I stand out here in the hall? And I quit crying. He says, nope, you're going back in the classroom. And that was worse than the paddling.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he paddled so hard. I mean, it brought tears to my eyes. God, he hurt.
And you really didn't do anything, right?
I don't know. Talking in class. But, you know, they beat you for that back then. It wasn't paddling. They beat you.
So you weren't supposed to talk. Do you think that was good, all those paddlings? Or is there an in-between? Because now I don't get to say paddle people, do they? Do they paddle people in school, Gwen, nowadays?
There's a few schools. I
Bradley?
heard one this year, no.
Ain't nobody in Bradley County does that, I don't think.
I got several.
Well, I got them all the time. It wasn't no big deal to me to get a paddling.
No. But,
I just used to it.
But I didn't like it.
Well, I didn't like it either, but I used to get one about every day from somebody.
Why didn't you just quit? Didn't everybody quit back then, going to school? How old are you, if I might ask?
73.
73. That's the same age as my dad. No, my dad's 70.
75.
75, 76.
76, well, he's about 2 years ahead of me in school. I remember where your dad lived on the corner down there from me.
On
Howland Willa.
Or is it Harl and Willa?
Harl
and Willa, yeah.
Yeah, Howland, on up, Harl.
Yeah. I used to stay there at my grandmother's house.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a lot older then, because that 3 years, when you're that age, 3 years older is a big...
Yeah, when he was a senior, I was a freshman.
Yeah.
And, you know, he didn't have anything to do with freshmen, and we didn't have anything to do with the seniors.
No, That's probably the same way now.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
But is there a happy medium from no paddling to some paddling? I can't say that any paddling I got changed me in any way.
Oh, it never did change me.
So it didn't
make me a
help.
better student or nothing.
No. So it didn't help.
You think, well, you get a paddling, I'm not going to get any more. But I get one about every day. You know, it wasn't no big deal to me to get a paddling.
So we can't argue that was better.
No. But it might have straightened some people. Some people were scared to death to get a paddle. You know, they'd maybe get one a year, and that's about all they'd get because they're scared to death to get another paddle. They just never did bother some of us.
I got a paddling one time for something I didn't do. Never will forget it.
Oh, I got a lot of paddlings like that.
That didn't even do it, right?
Yeah.
But...
Well, I tell you, when I got to high school, my first day of high school, come on the intercom, Randy Fox report to Miss Clemmer's office. I thought, good God, what have I done? So I went to Miss Clemmer's office. She sat there and gave me a little talk. She says, I just want to let you know your reputation precedes you. Said, I hope we're not going to have any problems out of you the next 4 years at Bradley. I said, don't worry, Miss Clemmer, you never had no problem telling me at all. And I spent about every day in detention. Always in trouble for something.
Not really doing anything,
no,
right?
Just mischievous stuff.
I don't know.
But, you know, they thought detention would bother. It didn't bother me.
It's just an hour, right?
Yeah, I could care less.
I got expelled a time or two.
I never did get expelled. I had once that, back then we started growing our hair long, and Bill Schultz said, called me the office, says, when you come back to school tomorrow, you either have that haircut or I'm going to expel you. And Miss Clemmer said, come here, baby. She always called me baby. And she said, I want you to get your hair cut. I don't want you to see you expelled. I said, all right, no problem. So I went and got hair cut down to my barber shop where the Ramsey brothers worked at. And I'd give me a flat top. And I went back to school the next morning. Miss Clemmer took me to about 7 or 8 different classes and showed me off to everybody. This is where you need to wear your hair. And God, that was embarrassing. I said, if I know that's going to happen, I would have done it.
Was that Ramsey? Was that Lightning Ramsey? Is that what they called him?
I don't know. There was 2 brothers there.
He was next door to Zane Harris's office.
No. He was down here where Ganaway was. Ganaways and Spear Cleaners, right below the post office.
Them. Isn't it funny that you're 20 years older than me, but I had the same principal. By the time I got there, he was Cocker was principal. And when you got there, he was just a teacher.
No,
right?
he was principal.
Oh, he was principal.
Yeah, he was principal.
So he was principal for 20 years.
Yeah, he was principal at Stewart when I first got there. Now, where he is at before that, I don't know, but he was a principal at Stewart School the first day it opened.
And wonder whatever happened to him, Mr. Cocker.
Oh, he ended up dying. I don't know what happened to him. He had a heart attack or what he had.
Now, I remember Lou Underdown. He was a real,
yeah.
right?
He'd sit there and take a tennis shoe and beat you on the calf of the legs. I mean, did it turn red?
Why was he so angry?
No. I think a lot of those teachers were angry back then.
I do too. I don't know why.
And it seemed like they enjoyed paddling people.
But you was always lived in Bradley County because your dad was here.
Yeah.
And you'd mentioned Dooley's ice cream. I've heard that my whole life. Where was that?
Over on Central Avenue. Across the railroad tracks back where the, I think it used to be Belleville Flour or something over there.
So Central Avenue.
MC Hendricks used to have a first grocery store over there, across the street from Dooley's, the Tabernacle.
All right, now there's a manufacturing plant there now, right? Is there a manufacturing on Central Avenue?
No, I don't think they are.
Across the railroad tracks,
Yeah,
going towards Vest Grocery.
yeah.
So is it across the tracks?
Yeah, well, Dooley's about half a block before you turn left to go to Best Grocery. Sitting on your left.
Well, you're talking about Inman, not Central.
No, Central Avenue.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right, so Dooley's was Dooley Street, named after Dooley Street, I guess. Is that where they got the name
Well,
Dooley?
there's a road to run down the side of it. I don't know. That might have been Dooley Street. I don't know. I just knew it was on Central Avenue.
What was it? What was Dooley's ice cream like?
Oh, it was good. We go there about every night during summer. Every night.
How big was it?
Oh, it wasn't as big as this room here.
Did you sit inside or outside?
Well, most people just get it to go and wouldn't take it with them and eat it outside. You know, they had tables in there if you want to sit inside, but not a lot of people did.
Was people driving then?
Yeah. Yeah, me and Bubba Cry, we'd go about there every night. We'd go to Dooley's ice cream.
Bubba Cry, was that related to Doyle or Tom?
Doyle was his. Doyle daddy and Bubba's daddy were brothers.
So Doyle and Bubba were cousins. I knew Doyle, but I didn't know. Boy, Doyle was a nice one, wasn't he?
No, he was.
I liked him. I really did.
He get on your nerves sometimes. So
yeah.
He was kind of hateful at times.
He didn't mean it, I don't think.
Oh, I know he didn't mean it, but that's just the way he was.
Just the way he was.
Yeah, he'd go there, and when he had his car lot, he had a 800 number. You know, he'd make free phone calls, and Bubba lived in Charlotte all the time. So he'd go by at Doyle's and give me a call. And a lot of times Doyle just get all upset because they're never using his phone. Because it wouldn't cost him nothing. It's 800 number.
Yeah.
He's paying so much
and Doyle would get mad?
Oh, yeah.
Where was his place at?
Right there where, about where the Pizza Hut's at, or maybe up a little bit.
So Doyle was he doing the buy here, pay here? They didn't have that then, did
no.
he? Just selling cars?
Yeah. He was part of those, you know, they bring them up north down here, and they bring them up there, and they clean them up, fix them up, and all that.
Is that where Tractor Supply is now?
Yeah, probably is.
Because he owned that at one time.
Yeah.
So now Dooley's ice cream, you'd go there, you'd walk there every night?
Oh, no, we'd drive over there.
Everybody then had cars?
Well, most everybody did. I didn't have one, but Bubba had one, so we'd take his car over there.
And just eat ice cream?
Yeah. He used to get ice cream. I got a chocolate milkshake about every night.
Mm-hmm. Was it the malted milkshake? Or?
Yeah, the malted, yeah.
Oh, they're good, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Dooley's had the best. I think it cost $0.25 back then for, malted milkshake.
Did you ever put it in a Coke float? You put the ice cream in the Coke?
Yeah, I just never did like it that well.
But you like the malted?
Yeah.
Now, Dooley's ice cream, how long when did they go out of business?
Gosh, I don't know. Back when I got out of the Army in 1970, they were still in business then.
I guess, did you just finally quit going there?
When they went out of business, I quit going there.
So you didn't quit before they went out? Wonder why they went out.
I don't know if it's because of their age or what. I think his name was Bill Dooley. God, he was huge. I mean, big old man. And he made the ice cream and stuff.
What kind of ice cream? Did he make it himself?
Yeah, it's homemade. Yeah.
So it wasn't like Mayfield's?
Oh, no. No, they made their own ice cream. I guess that's what made it
like
good.
Like a churn?
Well, I'm sure they had big churns in the back or something that they made it all in. But one of the favorites they had was grape ice cream.
Was it more of a creamy,
No,
or more icy? You know, there's a little difference.
yeah, more icy. They wasn't no soft serve or nothing like that. They just sat there and take a dip and put your dip or two on your cone or cup, however you wanted.
How much would you pay right now, money, to be able to go down to Dooley's Ice Cream with Bubba right now?
Well, I'd pay $5 for malted milk right now.
I mean, if you could literally go, would you pay $10,000 for that experience again?
To relive that time again.
To relive that time
Oh, yeah.
for 2 hours?
No, not for 2 hours. No, to relive that time, I would. Not for 2 hours.
But if you could relive it for 2 hours, what would you pay?
No, I don't have no idea, D. I'd be pretty tight to come to 2 hours.
But you'd like to go back and...
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But were people different besides all the beatings in schools?
Oh, everybody was friendly. You know, back then we didn't lock our doors. We had a screen door on our house. We never did lock it. We go to the grocery store, go to town, doors wide open, screen door. There people just walk in who wanted to. Mm-hmm. Daddy always never took the keys out of his car. It's always in his car. Windows open all the time.
Was big cities like that then too, or is that just
I
because
don't
we
know
were a
about
rural
big cities.
town?
It's just, Cleveland is that way. No, you have to worry about stealing nothing, coming and breaking in your house. You didn't hear nothing back then like that.
Sam Cannon was the police sheriff?
Sam was elected in about 64, something like that.
So
Back then it was a 2-year term. You run two 2-year terms and you had to get out a term before you could run again.
Is that right?
And now, you can stay in 20, 30, 40 years as long as you get reelected, you can stay. But back then, 2-year terms, you served 2 terms and you had to sit out a term before you could run again.
Do you drive down through Cleveland sometimes and start thinking about all the changes and sort of get to feeling like you're a grumpy old man? You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
yeah. I mean, I go into some place, I say, well, this used to be, and I'm not even that old. And I think, well, this is the way we used to do it, and they don't even know who I'm talking about. If you mentioned to most people Sam Cannon, they'd have no clue who you're talking about.
Well, you mentioned a lot of people about Carl Collins. Said, who's Carl Collins? I don't remember.
Or Doyle Cry.
Well, this town has grown so much and so many people have moved in. I had a thing, I'd ask people to move on my route. I said, how did you get to Cleveland, Tennessee? And 75% of the people that moved here says Lee College.
I believe you're right.
I always ask somebody that's coming, I'd see the mail be forwarded to them to come from Florida or Texas. What made you come to Cleveland, Tennessee? They said Lee College.
And they end up staying.
Oh, yeah. They loved it here.
That's how we got Tim Waldrop.
Mm-hmm.
So that's only negative.
Yeah. But people be surprised what influence Lee College has had on this town. And a lot of people don't like to leave the universities. They give them anything they want and they're taking over the whole town. But look at the taxes they pay.
I don't know if it's good or bad, but I know that.
Well, it's good and bad.
Now, was it Lee College when you were living on 4th Street across from Carl?
Yeah. And they had a high school then.
But it wasn't big then, right?
No, not like it is now.
Would you have ever dreamed that it would be such an influence on Cleveland?
No. Back then, you could walk on Old Coy Street and there were students. We come across the road and stop you there and want to pray with you and testify to you and all that.
They all had dresses on too.
Yeah.
Remember the girls all wore dresses?
No jewelry, nothing like that. They couldn't go to the movie theaters. They couldn't go swimming or nothing like that. Just very strict. Now you go to Lee, you can do anything you want to do.
Yep. Literally.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think, do you see Cleveland moving way north now? I mean, do you remember when 25th Street wasn't here, or was it always here?
No, I mean when it wasn't here. I mean when Key Street wasn't here.
Nothing was on Key Street.
Wasn't no Key Street.
When they built Stewart School, was Key Street there?
Yeah.
That's what brought
Key Street was named after Keith Hines. You know Keith Hines?
Dennis, maybe?
No.
I don't know.
Well, Keith,
See, I don't even. There's.
his aunt was Cletus's. Cletus' aunt owned all this property, and she gave a lot of it to Cleveland to build Keith Street. She said, "I'll give it to you if you'll name it Keith Street," off of her nephew Keith. And of course, Keith lives in Cleveland now.
And nobody knows.
Oh, you tell them that's named after Keith Hines. Well, who's Keith Hines?
Yeah.
I don't know who Keith Hines is, but I went to school with him and everything.
But what do you see different about people then versus now?
People more friendly back then. You knew everybody. You know, back then I couldn't do anything in Cleveland unless my parents knew about it. Mm-hmm. Somebody pick up the phone, call them, or tell them or something. That, hey, he's sitting out at midnight running around. What's he doing out at midnight? Everybody knew everybody. Mm-hmm. You don't have that now.
Were people more religious then?
No, I don't think they were.
About the same?
Yeah.
More religious now, maybe?
Probably some of them more religious now, but it's just like I said, it's just a small town. Everybody knew everybody.
I'd say Etowah's similar to that right now.
It probably is. You know, you go anywhere and they say, "Who's your dad?" And I tell them, "Oh, I know who you are." Then everybody knew everybody.
But you've always been into politics.
Yeah.
Or not really into it, but on the sidelines.
I ran for city council twice.
Oh, did you?
Against Bill Robinson. Tough opponent to run against.
Coach Roberts.
Yeah.
What'd they call him?
Chief.
Chief, that's right.
And I said, "What do you run against him for?" And I said, I can't pick my opponents. I announced first. And then
he would have been a tough one.
Oh, yeah. I ran against him twice. The second time he beat me by 48 votes.
40 out of how many votes, reckon?
I don't know. I don't remember how many voted.
He was a school teacher and everything.
Oh, everybody knew him. Everybody loved Chief.
Yeah.
And I'd go out door-to-door campaigning and all of that. People say, "Yeah, we're going to vote for you." And I knew they was lying to me because I knew they was good friends with Chief. And of course, all their kids had played golf with him or played football with him. He knew everybody in town. Everybody in town knew him.
He was related. He dated Dolly Parton, right?
Mm-hmm. Says he did. No, I don't know if he did or not. Yeah. But, he was a tough opponent to run. But I announced first that he announced he was going to run. And so nothing I could do about it. Just go ahead and run.
Yeah.
And the first time he beat me by 200-something votes. And the second time, I got him down to 48 votes.
Why didn't you run again?
I've had enough of it. I said, evidently they don't want me, so I won't run anymore. That's the only office I've ever wanted to be on was city council. Never wanted to be on county commission or be at the courthouse and office, nothing. I just always wanted to be on city council. Well, back then it was city commission. That's
a pretty powerful position, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was before city manager, though.
Yeah.
Do you like the city manager form of government?
No, I don't. I like the old government. And that's what I campaigned on. Chief was for the city manager. I was against the city manager. Chief was for the airport. I was against the airport. Chief was for the wheel tax. I was against the wheel tax. And so I went up one day and had an ad, showing Chief, this is what he's for, this is what I'm for. Difference in black and white. And Goldie took it to Goldie. And Goldie said, "Hell no, I ain't running that." I said, "Why?" He said, "I don't have to give you a reason why. I ain't running it." But I knew I was in trouble then because, Goldie and I was all pushing for Chief.
And if you couldn't get it in the banner, you could forget it.
No, I couldn't make him put it in there. He just wouldn't do it. I said, "There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not down him. I'm not telling him what his views are, what he agrees with, and what I agree with."
That'd probably tip those 48 votes.
Yeah,
because wheel tax was never popular.
No. And the airport wasn't popular with me.
It wasn't popular.
I don't think we didn't need it that bad.
Did Chief get it during that term?
Yeah.
Well, it seems like a lot longer time to go.
Yeah. And the city manager back then, too. I didn't like the city manager part.
Yeah, I don't know if it's better to have it or not. It seemed like that you could, if you have a guy that's in charge of his certain specific role, you're always better off.
Oh, I thought we was.
Yeah.
If I was police commissioner, I was over the policeman, the fire commissioner, I was over the fire department.
That was your thing. That was your.
And you got a complaint, you come to me. You don't go before the whole council.
And you're held accountable and all that stuff. But
the same thing with school superintendents. They appoint school superintendents. I don't think that's right. They need to let a run for it.
Oh, definitely.
Because they got to answer the people. If you're appointed a school superintendent, You got to please 4 people on the board. That's all you got to please. Make no difference whether the other 3 like you or not. As long as you please 4 of them, you still keep your job.
That's the way it is with city manager, I guess,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
and other. Yeah, I don't know why the school board. Has the school board always didn't they used to have to run? Didn't Jerry Frazier have to
was
run?
school superintendent. George Sterrett was school superintendent.
Yeah.
David Holloway was school superintendent. They all ran for it.
Mm-hmm. Did they change that now? Or
no, it's still appointed.
Oh, still. Because that'd be a tough one to be.
Well, if you got 4 people on the school board, you can be the school superintendent if they vote for you.
Now, not like our city government having a city manager. Do they ever go back to the other way? Mm-mm. Once it's there, it stays.
Yeah, unless you go back and change the charter.
But that's not going to happen.
No, that's not going to happen. No. I like the old style of government myself.
You'd have to be like unscrambling eggs.
Yeah. And that probably hurt me when I ran for election. It's because I was against city government, the city manager thing. I just didn't think that's a good idea. And it may be a good idea. I just
who knows? We don't know. We're in the dark, right?
Can't change it, so nothing I can do about it.
Just live with it.
And the city commission, city council now don't have the influence they did when it was city commission. Because you was over certain departments, you might be over the road department, over the fire department.
Yeah.
You had a little power back then, you could do some stuff. But now they got to go, anything to go, got to go through the city manager. He does all the hiring, the firing. He wants to fire the police chief, he can fire the police chief.
So why have a city council?
Well, they make policy and all that. Of course, they can fire the city manager. They're the only ones who can fire him. They get 4 votes, so they can sit there and put him on the road.
And then they wouldn't have a city manager, so
they'd hire another.
That wouldn't work. That'd be a rough month, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, he's the same way. He's got to please the city council. Mm-hmm. If he's not pleasing them, they say, "Hey, we don't need you anymore. We're going to get somebody else." As long as he's pleasing at least 4 of them, he don't have to worry about nothing.
He can be a lightning rod, I guess, for anything that goes wrong. Because that'd be a big job, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, a lot of the city council still got some influence to get things done, but they want you to go through the city manager to do anything.
But that was what they called the good old boy system, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know
if I'm part of the good old boy network.
I guess. It worked.
Yeah. Well, Shorty was against the city manager, too. He didn't think it was right.
Was he against it?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if he was or what.
But they made their mind up. That's why they wanted to change the government. So
did we vote? We voted that in. I remember that when I was younger. I didn't know what it all meant. But there's a lot of different forms of government. I found out that you don't have to have a specific kind. You can be in different cities and they can change it or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. Things change.
So you didn't follow after Daddy's footsteps. You'd been running for public office somewhere.
Yeah, I couldn't. I can't take criticism very well.
Oh, I enjoy criticism.
I don't. They say a criticism is the best form of flattery.
Oh, I like
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
Isn't that the old saying?
Yeah. This gives me a good reason to argue with somebody about something.
I don't mind arguing, but I don't like criticism. There's a little difference.
Well, constructive criticism ain't bad.
Yeah. But why don't you try to run for something now? Say, hey, I'm going to run just to shake this thing up.
I have no desire now to be involved in it.
What does your days look like?
Nothing.
Don't do nothing?
Nope.
Go to the Y and work out?
That's the way I want it.
Don't do nothing?
Nothing.
Watch TV?
I can go to bed when I want to. I can get up when I want to. If I decide, hey, let's take a trip, get the car and know how to say, well, I'm see if I can get off from work, or see if my wife can get off from work to go on a trip, or do what I want when I want.
You watch TV during the day or of the evening?
Most of the evening. I'd be afraid to look for a job now, afraid somebody give me one.
Yeah.
And I sure don't want one. I enjoy it. Making more money nowadays than I've ever made in my life. I've been retired.
Just from drawing different retirements?
Yep.
What about it? You don't have any hobbies?
Mm-mm. Well, we live on the river. Of course, I don't fish. I don't hunt. Don't golf. Too old to chase women. So there ain't a whole lot to do. Now, my wife loves to fish. That's all she does is fish. Mm-hmm. She's got a kayak fishing boat. She got a pontoon fishing boat. She got a bass boat.
Where do you live on the river?
Right behind the 58 shortstop. A little subdivision called Britsville Shores.
Yep, Britsville Shores.
And my wife fishes about every day.
She fish off. She get in the boat and go fishing.
She got her own bass boat. I've been in her bass boat. Never ever rode in it.
You ever go into the 58 shortstop and talk to Steve?
Every now and then. I don't go there much.
That's a little bit too far, isn't it? I mean, you got to drive up.
I mean, I just.
But is Britsville Shores? Is it in McMahon County?
No, Meigs County.
Meigs County.
Yeah, I'm right behind the 58 shortstop where the subdivision is.
Because Anderson Cabin Road is the last road
in Bradley County.
Yeah. Do you feel funny not being in Bradley County no more?
No, I don't know the difference. Just because I live up there, for a long time I still had two houses. I had the house in town, and that was a summer home.
Yeah.
So we finally got tired of.
Are you on the water? Or you have a lot in the subdivision.
I've got lots in the subdivision, plus I'm on the water. Got my own dock, my own ramp.
Mm-hmm. That was a good development, wasn't it?
Well, back then I built it 29 years ago. I had the blanking ships put it in the drive for me, and I said, we'll take care of that. I took care of the rest. Mm-hmm. I wired it, I plumbed it, done everything else to it.
Did it take you a while, just spare time?
3 months. Well, I worked on it every day. Mm-hmm. As soon as I get off work at the post office, I'd go straight to the river, work on that to about midnight. Mm-hmm. Then on the weekends, I worked all the time. We had it done in 3 months.
That's pretty good.
And I had, I think, $25,000 I paid for the lot, which I thought was ridiculous. $25,000 for a lot.
How many years ago? 30 years ago?
Yeah. And that was, that was high back then, but I'd buy them all day long now for $25,000.
Oh, yeah, you couldn't even buy them. Yeah.
And I got $50,000 in my house. So I've got $75,000 in my house and my lot. Mm. And I've been offered up to $700,000 for it.
Mm. And you ain't going to take it, right?
No, it's just a good investment back then. Mm-hmm. We just had to buy a place and get on the river before everybody got popular. Everybody wanted on the river then.
And you can't hardly get docks on the river no more.
No.
So that was worse.
It's hard to even get a seawall now. They wanted you to put riffraff up.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, I just soon not have one if you put a seawall up. I don't know riffraff. It's just snakes just live in those rocks.
You can't even weed eat it. You can't.
No. And your boat gets up there and hits it.
I don't know why they don't like seawalls anymore.
TVA, they do what they want to do. I don't like them having control over everything, but there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah. All right, well, Randy, we about covered it all, didn't we?
I guess we have, Dee.
I sure have been good.
I mean, it's the easiest $500 I've ever made.
I tell you what, we've got a lot of views. A lot of people watch the show.
Oh, yeah, I watch it every Sunday. I look forward to it. I get up about 4 o'clock on Sunday morning.
Ed Lewis came on this morning.
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah.
I was watching it at 4:30 this morning.
Yeah. Yeah, it comes out about 12 o'clock.
Yeah, that's the first thing I do when I get up on Sunday morning. Because I get up every morning about 4 o'clock or so every morning. First thing I do is on Sunday morning get in there and get on the discussion.
Yeah. The discussion.
Yeah.
I appreciate you watching.
I enjoy watching it. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Randy.